Jennifer Alessi. We are going to be doing task number 1. So I'm going to show you how we maintain our anesthetic machine. Before we get started though, I'd like to introduce you to our oxygen tanks. So we have a reservoir tank and our emergency tank in case our reservoir tank goes. Our oxygen pressure gauge is right over here. So this is our oxygen pressure gauge. We have a little over about 218 kPa and then 30 psi in our tank, so we are good to perform our procedures. Our oxygen flows throughout the facility, so we just hook up our oxygen lines to our wall and then it pipes through. We have the generator down here, so once our generator goes and is ready, then we turn on our oxygen compressor and then that's going to pump it through, so you can see the lines from the tank, and then that feeds in again to our actual system throughout our facility. And I'll meet you by our anesthesia machine. Alright, so we have our anesthetic machine right here. We're going to start with our oxygen. Here's our oxygen valve, our oxygen flow meter, and then we have our oxygen flush valve. I can turn it on, and then I'm going to read at the middle of the ball of what the line is. So if I want it at 1.5, I can just place that, and I'm reading at the very center. Then I'm going to go ahead and turn off the oxygen, and I just give it a light twist. I don't need to over twist. This flush valve is going to allow the oxygen to bypass the vaporizing system. And so you can see that tube from the valve, it'll bypass and go straight in, or I can use the oxygen to carry the anesthetic, which is what I'd like, through the vaporizer. So we have our vaporizer in the center. We use liquid anesthetic, of course. We use isoflurane. So our isoflurane, you can see the level is about 75%. So we want it anywhere between those two white lines. So we're going to be good to be able to perform surgeries with this at this level. So I don't need to fill it up yet. If I did need to fill it, I'd fill it in this canister part right here. So that's what'll open up. Again, this is our vaporizer. The oxygen flows, it grabs the anesthetic and then it pushes it through to our different lines. So we have our manometer right here, and so that's going to let us know how much pressure we have in our system. We have our inhale, flow out, so this is going to be our 2 unidirectional valves. Both of them should flap or flutter, and so you'll sometimes hear them referred to as flutter valves as well. So the animal inhales the anesthetic agent with the oxygen. It runs through the blue tubing out the end, and then when the animal exhales, the exhalant is going to run between the corrugated plastic and the blue tubing. Coming back through, it'll pop up through this part of the tube, and then it'll go through the exhale, and then it'll go through that flap into our soda lime container. Now I'm just going to check really quick, make sure the tubing does not have any holes in it. Alright, and so that is safe, and there does not appear to be any tears in that tubing, and it's connected tightly, so I don't have to worry about any leaks or tightness there, but I will perform a leak test in just a moment to verify that. We have then, as I was saying, our soda lime container. So we change our soda lime every 30 days. It does not need to be changed right now. It was just changed on the 7th. It has a little bit of the purple, but we can wait until about more than 25 to 50% of the soda lime has changed purple. Now, aside from the color change though, we will look at the density of the soda lime. So if it comes out and it's able to be crushed easily, then we know that it's still fresh. If it's hard and dense, then I'm going to have to change it, because that soda lime can turn back into that white color. So I'll just verify with that density to see if it needs to be changed or not. So I'm looking for color changes in the soda lime. I'm also looking for that density. So if it crumbles, it's okay. If it's not crumbling and it's really hard, then I know I need to change it out. And then we will record how long we've been running our machine, and then we do make sure that we change it at least every 30 days. And then we have our relief valve right up here. So ours is always open. So we always have that open, and we have a safety button right here. So we do have that bypass button. So we'll utilize that when we do our pressure check, or our leak check rather. I've already secured that. Check the tubing in the scavenger system. And that is good as well. So I'm not seeing any leaks in our scavenger system tubing. I'm going to check our reservoir bag. Make sure it's properly attached, and again I'm going to verify that there's no holes, tears in it, and it looks good. And I'm going to connect that back up there. Okay, and then just to make sure the manometer is working as well as the bag, I'm going to turn on the oxygen. And so I'm going to turn on the oxygen and then push the oxygen all the way through. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the flush valve. The bag will hold. The manometer will increase. And then I'll be able to also check those unidirectional valves at the same exact time. So so I've got that flowing. Okay, and you can see as well that the bag has increased. My manometer also has risen, so that's working properly. And then I'm going to go ahead and release. I'm holding on so you can tell that that relief valve is working. I'm going to let go. The reservoir bag decreases. The manometer does as well. And then I should be able to also, when I release, I can see that flutter. And then I'm going to push on that reservoir bag, and so I should see another flutter. There we go. So those are also working. So everything is in working order. There's no leaks. There's no disconnections, or at least leaks that I saw yet, but I will do the proper leak test. That was just verifying that everything is in working order for what we've got going.